You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Spirit Dimension with your host, Kerry Greenaway, right here on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening and welcome to The Spirit Dimension. Now, on a Sunday, you know I like to bring you something a little bit different from the paranormal. We like to go into the more spiritual, metaphysical world sometimes. And tonight we're going to do that. We're going to look at manifestation techniques. Coming off the back of New Year, the thought of setting New Year's resolutions is always in people's heads, but you don't have to wait for New Year to set new goals, new dreams, new resolutions. So tonight we thought we'd talk about ways you can do this that will help you manifest those dreams and goals and resolutions that you set for yourself. So I've pulled into the studio with me tonight the lovely Clare Hinks. Good evening, Clare.
Good evening, Kerry. How are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
That's good.
No, I'm good. I'm really good.
Ready to manifest.
We're manifesting and positive thinking all the way here. And I've also got the lovely Kerry Ann in the studio with us. Good evening, Kerry. How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening. Good evening, Claire. Hope you're both well.
Yeah, all good in the hood.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So, ladies, to start with, did we set any New Year's resolutions for ourselves?
No.
Yes. Last year was a bit of a crazy year for me. So by the end of the year, I was feeling really deflated. I'd come away from the paranormal. I'd stopped doing things that I enjoyed doing. I was fixating things that shouldn't matter. I was letting things get to me. Basically, the weight of the year had really taken its toll on me. I put on weight, all these things that really bothered me. And the new year kind of felt like new year, new beginning. And I was like, I thought, do you know what, enough's enough. Everything that I'm unhappy with, now's the time for me to make a change. I started living well. That was one of my New Year's resolutions. Time management in regards to my projects that I've got coming up was another New Year's resolution for myself. And just genuinely being positive. And so far, day 7, had to forgive me, Father, for I went way over my sins today because I found the roses tin. Get in.
The roses tin.
Leftovers, never good.
No, I did absolutely cane that, but everything else seems I'm moving forward quite nicely, and I'm enjoying the new positivity, but it's something that I feel like I could have done and should have done sooner. But for some reason, kind of set myself that target of, I'll just wait until the new year and New Year's Day. But so far so good. I'm hoping I'm going to stick to it.
We do that, don't we, though? We always think, I'll start in the new year. I kept telling myself I'm going to start running. I said to my friend, I'm going to start in the new year. Why are you waiting to the new year? She said to me, start today. I was like,
yeah.
But I just can't, because there's too much food and wine, and I just can't. I couldn't get myself in that zone. But I've heard lots of people say the same thing about moving forward and feeling really excited about the prospect of 2018. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's all the moons. Like, we've got amazing moons going on this year, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we have
lots of energy.
Yeah, we've got 2 full moons in January. And we kicked off the new year with a supermoon.
Yes.
Which is an incredible, powerful, intention-setting moon, a supermoon. So it is. Yeah. It started the year on a real heavy, high energy point for a lot of people. And I've actually seen a lot more people talking about more positive steps this year than I think we have in the last couple of years. And setting themselves more goals, and lots of good things happening. People are looking forward to lots of good things for 2018. So, it is. So, Claire, did you actually set yourself, apart from running, which I think you're mad, but good luck with that one?
Yeah.
Did you actually set yourself any other kind of resolutions?
Really, my main one is to not hold myself back so much, because I am trying to move myself forward spiritually and like on my platform mediumship, and I'm trying to get myself up and running properly as a business, really. Mm-hmm. So, but I do have this terrible habit of holding myself back, and it's only fear. Mm-hmm. It's just a personal, it's just personal self-confidence and stuff. I've had so much good feedback and so many positive comments. I'm like, right, this is it now, 2018. I'm going for it. So that's my goal this year, to really just not hold myself back, to really embrace it and move forward. So what about you, Kerry? Have you set anything for yourself?
One thing I did kind of come to understand was, as you know, I run a business as well. And my intention regarding my business, my authenticity for my business, I don't believe I have delivered. What I set out my business to do, I don't think I delivered so far in that business. So what my intention is this year, and we'll go more on intention in a second, is to actually stick my head above the parapet more with that and actually be more authentic. I set the business up on a mental and emotional front in regards to crystals and minerals and the power of manifestation. Now, I do that on my daily... I do that one-on-one clients. I do that when I'm out at MBS fairs. I do that when I'm working for other people, intention pouches and stuff like that. But I don't feel that in regards to the public front, I do that. And I think that's where I am not being authentic in regards to my business. So that is my goal this year, is to actually, like you say, break that fear barrier, because I am very good at that. Whenever I do that for people, there's never ever been a criticism for that. So why am I not putting that out more to the public? Why am I not putting that out rather than just saying, I sell crystals and minerals? I actually work in a specific way in regards to energy, and I don't believe that's being translated authentically within the business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as people, we undersell ourselves, though. I think if we commit ourselves to such a high standard, I think we have our own kind of levels of where we think we are. We don't see ourselves as other people see us, firstly. Secondly, we have our own kind of where we think we're reaching. And although we know we can attain these things and these levels, I think that when we put ourselves out there and say, this is what we do, we then create an expectation that we worry we can't live up to. So these are the kind of, there are constraints that we place on ourselves. But I think everyone does that, because both Claire and Kerry, you've both stated the same thing. Both of you, Claire, in regards to a mediumship, has said, I don't believe in myself as much as other people do. And when I hear positive feedback, that encourages me now to want to put myself out there a bit more. And you've just said the same thing in regards to explaining yourself in regards to your business. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a general kind of thing that everyone goes through. But it's about cutting off those shackles and kind of shaking loose and going, actually, I am who I am. and I own that. And we're not always going to please everyone, but generally we know what we provide is a good service as such.
But you know what, though? We should be pleasing ourselves, shouldn't we? We should be happy in our own skin. We should be moving ourselves forward in a positive, strong way, and not really what we should. We as humans, we worry about what people think of us, don't we? And we worry, oh, my confidence. Like I was talking about this the other day at the circle that I run, about our own self-worth and how we feel about ourselves. And I've said to them, I'm going to be really positive this year. I'm going to drag you all along with me. So get positive. Come on, get positive. Because we all worry about things about ourselves. I don't know. I worry, so-and-so might worry that they're not a very good cook, but they chef for a living, but actually everybody says, oh my God, the food that you cook is amazing. It's lots of things like that. We all worry about things and we all think that they're massive, but actually people view us in a very different way to how we view ourselves. So moving forward this year is really important, I feel.
Well, I mean, I do feel like I'm an enabler. Kerry will tell you I enable behaviour that probably isn't the healthiest. But I believe that if you're happy, you should be who you want to be. But saying that, I do feel like, though, a level of worry and self-awareness is healthy because it keeps you grounded. It keeps you humble. And if you do put up too much of a I don't really care what other people think I am who I am, it can be perceived as a facade, and then people might perceive you as fake. Or
you have to be in the real world, don't you? You have to be in the real world. You have to be grounded, obviously.
Yeah.
You don't want to get carried away with a big fat ego. That's not what I meant. I just mean,
just have more faith in yourself.
And
more self-belief that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
So regardless,
we're just very self-critical, aren't we? We're self-critical.
I think everybody is very self-critical, and I think. And this is from a British perspective, we're very self-deprecating as British people. You know what I mean? It's just part of a British mindset thing, I would say. But anyway, so we have goals for ourselves for this year. And as I say, mine came towards the end of the year rather than, I don't really set a New Year's resolution as such. But I do sort of look at what happened in the past year and look to see what I can do to move forward in the new year, or things that I'd like to. I mean, I always write a list of places I'd like to go and things I'd like to do and those kind of things. And I achieved all of those things I wanted to do last year, apart from one, which was visit Highgate Cemetery. I still haven't done that. That was on my list for last year. But in regards to any goal, it all starts off with an intention. And we talk about intention as the key point to any form of manifestation work, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Intention is incredibly important. And when you do any form of energy work or goals or anything like that, then we always say it starts with your intention. And be very careful what your intention is, because the universe is a fickle old thing. Be careful what you wish for, it may come true. So you have to...
It will give you exactly what you ask for.
And not necessarily in the way that you think it's going to manifest. So you have to be really, really specific in your intention.
Yes.
I find it
we have all found this out.
Yeah. even now when I put, when I start with my intentions, because obviously, like you said, intentions start with everything. You need that to begin. And but I'm now I just want to be happy, but then I have to put all my little subtitles underneath at the expense of no one else. Mm-hmm. That I can remain with what I've got, because I know that it's going to be, not at the expense of something, but something is going to happen for that. I say happy is just an example, but it is you have to. I'm so careful now of what I put out there, because I know either I'm going to get exactly what I want, but it's going to become not some type of expense, but it's going to come from somewhere, and it might come in a way that I'm not prepared for, and it might be a painful transition to be able to get where I need to go. So yeah, with intention, you really do have to be careful of your wording, and also that, you know, it is something that, you know, it is not going to be at the expense of someone else as well, because that kind of stuff comes back to you as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that, definitely. You do have to be very careful with your intention. Now, there is a thought out there that you aren't supposed to do anything for yourself. You're not supposed to do manifestation for your work, for yourself. You're supposed to always give it out. I disagree with that. I think self-manifestation is just as important as manifesting for other people. And I'm incredibly bad at that. I will manifest till the cows come home for other people. And then when it comes to myself, it's almost like, nah, I'm not worthy of that. But I am just as worthy of self-manifestation as anybody else.
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah, but then people do that. I think that, again, it's such a general thing. People do that all the time. For example, like with gifts, you might not spend as much on yourself as you would if it was a gift for someone else. You know, I think it's a general kind of census with people when it comes to our own. Again, we go back to our own self-worth, what we feel we're worth. But yeah, I agree. I when I put anything out there, I ask for a happy and healthy whatever for everyone. Not just myself, but others as well. But I will always include myself in that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And as I say, there is that thought out there, like particularly when you go into the witchy kind of world, that you shouldn't do it for yourself. But I want to put it out publicly. It is fine to do it for yourself, and whether you're doing it for somebody else or you're doing it for yourself, then you need to be very specific in what you want to achieve out of your manifestation work. Right, girls, so how do we do this? We've got our intention. We know we have to be specific in regards to it, because the universe, as we've said before, is a very fickle thing. How do we start doing this? You know, it's all well and good having an intention, but how do we then start to manifest that intention? Because it's all well and good you sitting there, and whenever you've got an intention and you're not putting it out there for the universe, it's all well and good having it in your head, but you have to put it out for the universe to understand it. And there are various methods that you can do, because until you put it out to the universe, all it is a wish. It's just a dream. So you have to sort of put it out there.
So speaking from personal experience, so I've had to go, I don't know if you've heard of the manifestation intention setting process. So there's a lady called Sarah Prout. Have you heard of her? Yeah. So I followed her intention setting process last year, and had to write myself a letter to the universe stipulating what I wanted to be as a person, things I wanted to change, things I wanted to make me happy, you know, all of these things. And I wrote a letter, and I was, you know, I'm quite happy generally with my life and my family and everything. And I wrote this letter, and I sat for a while thinking, oh God, I can't think of anything. But it was more like a bit of an experiment, really, because I hadn't done it before. And I actually did write down that I wanted to change my car, although I loved my car at the time. And I wrote down a description of the car that I wanted. Didn't really know what type of car, just what I'd quite fancy it looking like. And then she tells you to write this letter and then put it away and forget about it. So you've set the intention, you've written it down, you've sent it out there to the universe, and then you've let go of it. Because if you're not, there's two ways of looking at this, isn't there? Because some people say, like a vision board, you buy it and you see it constantly and you think about it all the time. Mm-hmm. But then she's saying, write it down and put it away and forget about it. Well, it seemed to work, because that was about last June, and the year before then, and last January I got my car. And it wasn't even planned, because my car went wrong, and it all just sort of fell into place completely unexpectedly. And then I found this thing that I'd written in like March last year and thought, oh my God, I actually manifested my car. How weird. But so I don't really know. I don't really know. But I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try it with a vision board this year and see what happens.
I did try a vision board, and I got people involved with my vision board creating, because I obviously I'm not able to do this alone. So first I recruited my sister, and I was like, we'll do this together, because we have like same kind of goals this year in regards to what we want to achieve. I contacted Kerry and tried to get some information. Well, I got information about what crystals can possibly use. And one of the listeners today, Mel, I hope you can still hear. Hello, Mel. She's a friend that I've made through different kind of work that I do. And she gave me some great ideas about vision boards. So I kind of spoke to a lot of different people. And I had all the best intentions for this vision board. And I knew exactly what I wanted to achieve. I knew exactly what I wanted to put out there. And I sat in front of all my magazines and I went through and I just thought, I don't actually know what I want to put down. I'm stuck. I know what I want to achieve. I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to put this down on this board. I didn't end up doing it in the end. It felt very overwhelming to put it out in front of myself like that. But not because the thought of achieving these were overwhelming, but to kind of put it in, I don't know, it's really strange. I find it quite difficult. I don't know if anyone else has had that experience before.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah. It is when you're working for yourself. See, when I'm working for somebody else, I find it dead easy because I know exactly what they want to achieve, or what direction they want to go in, and I know exactly what to do. But when it's for yourself, it is harder to get that intention and that visualization or wording or however it is you're going to manifest that out there to the universe. Do you know what I mean? It is really difficult. I want to tell you about a true story, actually. And this is to do with, God, what's the man's name? God, I can see his face. Niall Edmonds. He was on TV all through our childhood, or my childhood.
Oh, yeah. I remember a bit of Niall Edmonds.
And then literally,
house party.
disappeared off the face of TV completely. Completely disappeared off the face of TV. 1 year, he sat there and he was like, I want to be back on TV. And I'm not getting the opportunities I would get in. I'm seen as an old fogey, I suppose, in the old TV world. And he actually wrote down, I would like to be back on TV. And he wrote that down on a piece of paper, set fire to it, and sent it off into the garden, as it were, into the ethos. The next thing he knew, he'd been contacted by a television company, and that was for Deal or No Deal.
Wow. That makes it sound really easy.
It sounds really easy, doesn't it?
Right.
But
I'm
his
just gonna
intention
place my
was...
order.
Yeah, his intention was very specific. I want to be back on television, and he was back on television. Personally, I probably would have made that, because that could have gone either way. It could have been on the news for something bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the story is he just said, I want to be back on TV. I'm sure there was probably a little bit more to it than that. But, as I say,
I really like that approach. I really like, because I do that with releasing as well, with emotions and energies and situations. So I really like that kind of. I never really thought of that about intentions, about going in the garden and then setting it alight. I mean, I hope you don't mind. Mel's in the chat room. Mel is a lovely lady who supports families that have experienced bereavements during pregnancy, and she supports women. She has a group that sets up, and their intention this week was to actually do group vision boards. So I'd love to know your experience, Mel, how you guys got along, if you guys found it difficult or, quite easy. If you could leave your comments in the comment section, we can read them out and share with the other listeners how you got on with that. Oh, you've already done it.
Oh, blimey, I think she was already doing it while you were saying that. It's amazing what you put out there. It's all of a sudden it happened. Do you want to read what she says?
Yeah, Mel in the chat room says, I had an interesting experience with writing a letter. I'd done a personal development course about 9 years ago, and it ended with writing a letter to our future selves and a sheet for us to write what we had achieved on it. We then sealed it to open in 5 years. On that letter, I'd written that I had 2 children, including that they were a boy and a girl, and my now daughter's name. Dad had written a book, had a business with a popular public speaker regularly running events. 5 years later, so much of that has happened, albeit my son was born an angel and a business link to his death. The only bit that hasn't come true was my house in the woods. Oh, maybe this year. Oh, and they're doing it. Now Mel has put that she's doing the intentions tomorrow at her meeting tomorrow, but maybe the house in the woods will be this year.
I never know.
That'd be interesting. Keep us updated.
Yeah, definitely. See,
Yeah, that is
that
interesting.
seems to be an incredibly powerful way of setting your intentions out there and sending it off to the universe. It's just writing down your intention and sending it out. You know, whether or not that be a letter that you put away in a drawer, or whether or not that be setting fire to it and releasing it off to the universe. That seems to be one powerful way of doing it. Now, another way, we've talked about dream boarding or vision boarding. We've referenced that a few times. And Kerry Ann, you had a go the other day. Now, I've never tried that, vision boards or dream boarding, but I know people that have. And the theory of this is basically creating a board and then putting different like colours, words, images, crystals, all sorts of bits and bobs on this vision board that work towards your goal or your intention or your dream, isn't it?
Yeah. And,
I read... Sorry, go on.
No, go on, Claire.
Well, I was just going to say, I read somewhere, because Funnily enough, I've been looking at doing a vision board, possibly doing a vision board workshop, because vision boards just keep, like, I'm seeing things about them wherever I get them and feeling really drawn to it, and I've always said about doing one for us as a family. So this year I've started putting one together. Me and my daughter have painted a big bit of cardboard paint. Said to her, she's 6, what should we do with this? And she said, let's paint a rainbow on it. So we painted a rainbow on it and made it really colourful. And but I read that it helps if you write down your feelings, or write down things that make you feel really happy, or I'd really like a holiday, and it will make me feel how it will make you feel, So the feelings, emotion associated, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was talking to a lady about this the other day, and she said, "Oh, we've already been doing vision boards at home, and we have it on our kitchen table, and we all see it every day, and the kids always say, oh, we want this, Mummy, we want that." And she said that they actually they wanted a camper van, and they put camper van on their vision board. And she said all year, all the kids were talking about was, when we get our camper van, and when we do this, and when we go there in our camper van, even though they didn't have the camper van. She said they ended up with it 2 years before they thought they would, because it just literally fell into their path. She said we weren't even looking for it. It just turned up. So I do believe, and I've heard lots of stories like that about manifesting, what you really want. So I say, let's do it.
Yeah, I think it's really important to say though. As mediums, we all know that everyone works differently. So, for example, what a colour might mean to me will be different to Kerry or different to Claire, and because it's so personal. So it's really important to remember that your vision boards and the colours that you use and the words that you use are really personal. If someone's using yellow because they want that happy association, but to you that sadness, that yellow isn't right for you. Your happiness might be blue. So you use blue.
It has to be personal, doesn't it? You can't copy, I can't copy what you've done for yourself, and vice versa. Because
the reason why I say that is because when I was looking, I've never done a vision board before, so I was looking online to try and get some ideas and talk to other people. But it just so happened that the magazine I brought actually had one of the inserts was how to do an angel vision board. I was like, oh, this is ironic. Look at this. So I started looking at it, and it actually gave definitions for colours to use. If you want happiness, then use red. If you want, this. So, but that doesn't necessarily. I think that's why I felt so conflicted about doing it, because a lot of the information that I had and a lot of stuff I had in front of me, I just couldn't connect with. So I think that's why I made it first. Yeah. So it is really important to kind of go on your own, listen to your own self and your own judgment.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
It's definitely instinctive.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We talk about that a lot as well. Just because one way works for one person doesn't mean to say it's going to work for you. You have to go with what resonates for you. You know, it's in no different way than if you was to choose a tarot deck. You know, you'd go with the one that sings to you and what you know, tune to, rather than, well, my mate uses that one, so I'll use the same one. You know, it's the same, exactly the same. You have to do your vision board or whatever manifestation what you do with what's attuned to your own vibration. Just because it says that in a magazine or online, or, you know, your mate says it, doesn't mean it's necessarily going to resonate with you. So I completely agree with that point. Now, the other side of this, I mean, there are lots of different methods you can use, but the other side of this is think the way you think about it, because you could put that intention out there, but if you're like, whenever you set a goal, you always immediately, the doubts come in, don't they? No matter what you want to achieve, your natural mind will always fill with doubt. Do you know what I mean? Am I good enough? Will I be worthy? Can I achieve that? Will I really be able to achieve that? Well, I'm skint, so I'm not going to be able to achieve that. Do you know what I mean? Those kind of doubtful thoughts come in. So how important is the concept of positive thinking in regards to setting your intention and goals?
I think it's with anything. You know, positive thought, like attracts like, I think, in my opinion. So if you're putting positivity in, then you'll get positivity back. But at the same time, I think questioning whether you're worthy of something isn't necessarily a negative thought. It's just a moment of, you know, what will I do with this? Maybe it's a case of, is this actually something I want or something I think I want? Could it be that I don't want that as much as I do this goal, and that's why it's not really connecting with me as much? So I think it's about listening to yourself and being honest with yourself with what you actually do want to achieve and what are you comfortable with achieving. You know, being the boss of a multi-billion company might not be something you're actually comfortable with, although you dream to do it. But maybe working in a, you know, a homegrown juice company that makes it out of fresh vegetables and fruit and organic, and that might be something you are. So I'm not saying it's not multi-million, but you know, you see, it's about making being honest with yourself and actually making goals that you do actually want to achieve and that actually resonate with you and not what you think you would make you happy. And it's also to be important to know as well that sometimes your goals aren't, you think that they will make you happy, might not necessarily you know, in the long run make you happy. I mean, like Claire said, she found her, I know she's happy with a car. She put down that she wanted a car, she described the car and she received the car, but she received that car because something went wrong with her own
old car,
which wouldn't have made you happy in any way, would have caused you a lot of conflict and kind of some distress, but it happened that it was resolved by the car that you wanted. So that is that's highlighted and how these things can come in. But it's not always going to cause you give you instant gratification. It will cause you some kind of conflict or dissonance at some point.
True. That's very true.
I think when you're doing these things, you have to have a little bit of positive mindset, you know, because you're looking forward, aren't you? You know, it's about looking forward to the future and trying to attract, I know for me, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, I suppose, and the people that I speak with, I want to draw things to them that are, you know, they want to look forward to going on holiday, or they want to look forward to moving house, or, you know, or to having a party, or, you know, whatever it is. So you need a little bit of, I don't know, what's the word? Well, you do need a little bit of positive, but you also need a little bit of happy, don't you? A little bit of feel good. So I suppose the next question would be like, what do you need to do to be positive? Because it's hard, isn't it?
It is hard work.
Life pulls us down, and it's really hard to be positive all of the time. Because I know I struggle, you know, and it is hard. And I've written down here, positive mindset in my big list of things. Positive. But it's hard to have a positive. So to do things like, you know, I've sort of been thinking, you know, what makes me feel more positive? Actually, I feel better when I go for a walk, when I get some fresh air, and my spirit guide's always saying to me, drink water, drink some more water, because over Christmas I haven't drunk hardly any water, and I feel like I'm really suffering. My head, I've got headaches, I'm just really suffering. So I think I've failed to look after myself in a way that's been uplifting. I haven't felt uplifted. I'm sort of gone into a bit of a wallow where my positive has been affected. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that is easy to do, and then of course winter comes, doesn't it? And you think, oh, and then you're stuck in the rut.
Yeah,
with the non-positive all on top of you, and it just becomes a bit of a vicious circle. So
January is a really hard month anyway. You come off the back of a lot of highs from Christmas and New Year and seeing a lot of people, and then basically everyone goes into hibernate mode because it's cold, wet, windy, your skin from Christmas, you know what I mean? You are feeling sluggish because you've eaten a lot of foods that you wouldn't normally eat. And January is a struggle for most people. So to then sit there and set a goal for, and be positive and happy and, really try to focus your intentions. January is actually a very hard month to do that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is why we wanted to address this, because you don't have to just wait for New Year. Yes, it is a time.
You can do this any time.
You can do it at any time through the year. How I work in regards to manifestation work, as you all know, I work with crystals and minerals. I do crystal gridding. That's how I set my intention. And sometimes I'll write out what I want to achieve and put it under the centre of the grid. Sometimes I'll do the grid, do a little ritual and then burn that. That's how I work, because that's my way of working. That's what fits for me, because that's what I do on a daily basis. Do you know what I mean? So most of the time I do that for other people. And this year, that's something that got pointed out to me. When was the last time I did it for myself?
Yeah.
Kerry Ann actually said that to me the other day. She goes, when was the last time you did something for you, not for somebody else?
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? We spend a lot of time working for others, but then we forget about ourselves.
I don't think we have anything for ourselves. Yeah, I don't think there's anything left for ourselves afterwards. I think sometimes we can find ourselves putting invested. And, it's not we do it because we want to. It's not because we have to. We do it because we choose to. Yeah, and for very good reasons. But at the end of the day, all you're ready to do is have a bath and a quick sage, maybe, if it's caused some unnice or a little bit. I don't like using the word negative, because it's not negative in the sense of what negativity can be, but sometimes it creates energy. You just want to break up, take away, and then go to bed. That's what you want to do. So I think it's quite difficult. But quickly going back to the chat room with Mel, going back to vision boards. I know we've moved forward, but Mel says, I've done vision boards before. One year I did a wheel of life exercise first, which helped me see what I felt about life currently. Then matched the sections of the vision board to the wheel sections. I have usually just picked loads of photos from magazines according to something in them attracting me. I have never really consciously picked photos to go in them. But this year I want something. I'm really sorry. I still have problems with my words, Mel. I know you don't know this. I can't read certain words or pronounce them, even though I know what they mean and what they are. So would like things like a camper van and in particular a baby. I'm wondering about intentionally putting them on there. So some really good points and different ways of being able to approach different techniques, really.
Yeah, I've heard that used, that technique called a focus wheel, where you write down various areas of your life, and in each you take a specific area of each life and you go, right, okay. So like, for example, take career. In that career, you go, right, I'm actually really quite happy with my career, so I'm going to write down all the positives about that. But say you want a promotion, you would then put promotion or pay rise or move departments, or, you would pick something that would help improve that, even if, just something. You don't have to if you're completely happy with that particular area, but you break it down into like manageable chunks effectively, but you do it in a wheel. So your life is sort of like in the middle, but you break your life down into various bits and you list the positivities in each area. So it then highlights specific areas where you'll maybe want to tweak, So like, okay, looked at career, money. We always want more money. So, okay, so money's good. I'm financially sound, but I'd like to have a little bit more money so I can maybe treat the kids once a month to, I don't know, McDonald's or something. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing examples out, you understand. Or holiday. I'd like to go a bit further this year. We managed to go to Butlins, whereas this year I'd like to go abroad. You know what I mean? So you pick each like little area and you just tweak it a bit just so it's not a massive goal or intention, but you're breaking your life down into little bits where little improvements could be made to
for some people, it's just about giving themselves little little stepping stones, isn't it? Just a little thing, not a giant mountain to climb, something achievable. Exactly like you say, like we managed to do Butlins. Maybe I'd quite like to take them abroad for a week. Yeah. You know, it's achievable, but it's not a mountain. You know, it's little things, isn't it? Because for some people, will be listening to us thinking, I can't do this. I don't have a clue. Mm-hmm. I don't have no idea. Because some people will just struggle. Mm-hmm. So it's about keeping it simple, isn't it? Keep it simple, keep it real and achievable. Because as soon as you start to it's about changing your mind, your way of thinking, isn't it? So instead of thinking, I can't afford that, think, oh, I'd really like that. How can I afford that? Not, I can't afford it. How can I afford it? Because as soon as you change the way that you question it, your brain starts to think of ways to achieve it.
Yes. Yeah, it's...
keeping it real.
I've also heard a theory of it is called the rich man, poor man way of thinking. A poor man will think, I'm never going to be able to afford it. A rich man will think, I want to afford it. And it's a very subtle mindset change. It's a very subtle difference in mindset.
Little mindset changes can change your whole life without you even realising.
Now, so mindful thinking is quite important then.
Definitely.
Kerry?
And how do we achieve that?
Yes. I think mindfulness is important anyway in all aspects, but especially in intention setting and goal reaching, mindfulness needs to play a massive part.
I think so too.
Mindfulness in a scrambled, really busy, humdrum world is sometimes really hard as well, isn't it?
Incredibly difficult.
I think the most important thing that we've established so far is this is about effort, and it's about taking yourself out of a situation and putting yourself purposely in a moment where you can fixate and focus on yourself. This is a theme that's come up quite a bit in the conversations that we've had just about time and life and how that's so difficult. And it's correct. It is really, really, it's hard to achieve. So it's more importantly to make sure that you remove yourself from that humdrum and create that situation for yourself, your little bubble, where you're able to achieve what it is that you, even if it is just the mindfulness, you'd be able to achieve that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And mindfulness can be 5 minutes here and there. You know, if you're having a busy day, just go for a wee, stand there in front of the mirror and just grab 5 minutes for yourself. Deep breaths, relax, tell yourself, I'm calm, everything's fine, just for yourself, just 5 minutes. And then go back to whatever you're doing. And it's something as simple as that can just, like I was saying, little changes, achievable things.
Yeah. I always like to, if something hits me negative throughout my day-to-day, I always try to turn that into a positive. So, for example, or make a positive step to tackle that. And sometimes that may not feel like it's a positive step. That might feel like you're fighting negative with negative. But you've had that control to go, right, okay, so that hit me, but I need to tackle that. I need to deal with that. But how can I do that? So I'm going to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're just changing your way of thinking about it.
Okay, yeah. So and sometimes you have to accept that things are out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it, and you have to let that go. But you can take control of it by making the decision not to worry about it, as it were. Yeah. Because you can't do anything about it. So you make that decision to I can't change that, so I'm going to not worry about it. It's very, very, very easy concept to say. not quite so easy to do depending on the situation, but it is about taking control of your mindset and going, right, okay, that's really bad. I hate that. That's not, I can't change that. Okay, I can't change it. So let it go.
Yes.
And
So
that in
I
itself
always
is a
say-
positive step.
Every single day I say everything happens for a reason. So whatever happens today, everything happens for a reason. So I agree with you. If you can if you're able to turn something that appears to be really negative into something that isn't so negative, it makes you feel a lot better. And it's not all negative. You know, it helps. Like attracts like Kerry said in the beginning. You know, once you start with a little bit of positive, you see more positive.
Bringing into gratitude journaling. When everything feels really negative, sit down and write everything that's good in your life. Because it could
That's a
only be
good one.
one tiny aspect of your life that hasn't gone quite according to plan. So you sit and you write, okay, so what are the positives in my life? You know, I've got a roof over my head. I've got great kids. I've got fantastic friends. You know, I had a hot chocolate today. You know what I mean? Or, you know, those positive things. And even if they're little, they're still a positive. You know what I mean? I had a really good chat with a friend today. Or, you know, I laughed out loud at the new series of Will and Grace, for example. You know, they're positive, happy moments. And when you write down gratitude journaling, it's not always about the big things. It's about those little things. So when you look back and you read what you've written, it's not a negative reflection on that day. It's that, like you say, you know, I had a really great chat with a friend today and I laughed because we were talking about maybe something a little inappropriate or, you know, sorry, that's actually a conversation I had today. You know, I won't go into details, but I'll tell you after the show, girls. It's dead funny. And, but that in a whole day of maybe it not being a great day, that was a positive. And so I can look back at that day with my gratitude journal and go, okay, that was actually a really funny point in the day. And when I look back over the few days, I go, actually, what I perceived as really a crap week wasn't that crap because I had all these different positives going in. So I'm still achieving, I'm still maintaining positive thoughts, even though I may not feel particularly positive right at this moment in time because everything's gone crap. Do you know what I mean? So gratitude journaling or journaling in general is really important because you can see it's a physical, written record of things that are good and positive around you and how you've managed to push forward your dream. I was talking to somebody yesterday about, I had a situation last year where I was trying to find a specific tool for a grid that I wanted to do. At the time, it looked absolutely out of my league, completely there's no way I could have afforded to do it how I wanted to do it. Yet yesterday, I was out talking to a friend and all of a sudden she's going, I've got a load of this stuff and I don't know what to do with it and I've got to get... And I was like, hold on, I need some of that. And then her other half turned around and went, I can make that for you. And I'm sitting there going, something that was financially out of my reach, all of a sudden I'm now able to achieve that just out of a random conversation. And that was... I was like, I can't believe that. I can't believe that happened. Because when I looked into that, that was going to cost a huge amount of money and there was no way I could justify spending that money on that particular object. But that had been talked about quite extensively last year and now it's manifested itself.
Boom.
That's exactly what I said. Funnily enough, that's exactly what I said. Boom.
But don't forget to say thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Oh no. And trust me, I was like, oh my God, thank the Lord. Do you know what I mean? My goodness. Thank you for that. Yeah, it was weird how that all of a sudden manifested itself for me. At a time when we were discussing, I was thinking that's never going to happen. You know, so things do manifest when you put them out there to the universe, and sometimes they come at unexpected times as well. That's the other thing. Don't put a time limit on it.
No. Well, you can put a time limit on it, but if you don't need one, then obviously you don't need one. No.
It will come. Yeah, it will come. If you put it out there, it will come. Just be sure you...
And a fun thing to do when you're trying to do all this manifesting and intention setting is to do little things like ask for a penny, or ask for I don't know, a phone call from a friend, or just random little things that would be lovely, but just to play and see what's achievable. I'd really like to find a penny today, universe. I did it with pink flamingos. I followed the Sarah Prout website and did it with pink. They had a big pink flamingo thing going on as a bit of a joke. So I just thought, I'll try that, and asked for pink flamingos. Sent it out there. We live in the middle of a country town where there's no pink flamingos. Trust me. and I put it out there, set the intention, forgot about it. Nothing turned up within 24 hours, and I was like, oh. So I just put it out there again. Tried really hard not to think about it, because they say, ask for it but don't think about it. Tried not to obsess. Picked up the Lidl's brochure. Was just looking through it. Turned the page. There's a pink flamingo on the page. I know it sounds ridiculous and really random, but it really struck a chord with me, because it was such a random thing that I'd put out there, and there it was. It was a pink inflatable flamingo in Lidl's.
Kerry?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I do. There's always when you speak to people, they have similar stories of just setting themselves more achievable, kind of mundane seeming. Maybe wrong choice of word there. But then it happening. But then, you know what? I don't know whether this is quite the attitude for this show, but are we? Is it because we're looking for it that we see it? Maybe it's there, and it's just we're being vigilant towards it. We're not realising. Do you know, like angel numbers?
Yes, I know what you're saying. Yeah. It's a psychological phenomena that if you put out, if you say, you can put visual clues out there, and because you've thought of it, you will see them. Whereas if you hadn't have even thought about it, you wouldn't see them. Do you know what I mean? So it is a psychological phenomena that your brain will pick up on things if that's the sort of thing. Because if you hadn't have said that pink and flamingo thing, it's still going to have been there. You just didn't clue into it because you hadn't sort of said it. But because you said it, your brain has gone, oh gosh, pink flamingo. But I find that is actually quite an important factor of psychologically setting your mind for something. So you will look for those signs that you're on the right pathway. You will look for those signs that you can achieve that goal. You will look for that opportunity more if you've set your intention and manifestation.
That is important, isn't it? Because that's changing your mindset from something that isn't possible to something that is.
Yes.
And that's the whole point, isn't it?
So whether or not that's just a psychological cue to allow you to achieve your goals doesn't really matter which way you approach it from.
No.
It's still an important thing to set your intention and put that manifestation in place, so your brain starts recognising the signs and the opportunities and the ways forward to achieve those goals you've set.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like we've just solved a mystery.
Oh, I tell you what, before Christmas I was really struggling, and everything was feeling really hard. So I asked for a sign. And I don't do the white feather thing. I don't really buy into that because I live by a lake that's got loads of birds on it, so I see white feathers all the time and I just put them down to the birds. So it kind of, that for me is not a strong enough sign. So I was like, right, I need a sign. Is this the right thing? Am I in the right pathway? Come on. I'm really needing a bit of guidance here, So I put out this, I want a sign kind of moment. Anyway, I'm poodling around the house and I go and wash up as you do, normal everyday stuff. And I look up, and literally the house down the road has got a flashing pentagram Christmas thing on. Never seen it before. I've lived here a long time, and this flashing. Now, if anybody knows me, right, pentagrams are kind of a thing that I work with quite a lot. And there's this flashing. It couldn't have got more bright if it could have tried in the daytime. It was like quite a dim day, so it was really flashing like this pentagram. I was like, all right then, It weren't a Star of David. It was a definite pentagram. And I'm like,
And that was your sign.
Decorations from?
huh?
I wonder where they got their Christmas decorations
I have
from.
no idea. It definitely wasn't a Halloweeny type one. Do you know what I mean? It was definitely a Christmassy one. And the laugh of it is, I go out my front door and there's a Star of David. Someone's put a great big Star of David flashing thing in the tree. So there's a definite difference between the Star of David and, you know, this pentagram. But it was just, yes, it could have been, I need a sign psychologically. I work with pentagrams. That's where my psychological jump went to. But it just seemed really strange that I'd really screamed out for just give me a goddamn sign on this, because I'm really struggling here. And then I look out the window like, what, an hour later while I'm washing up and think, oh my God, that's a flashing pentagram.
Love it. Love it.
It's almost like, right, you want a sign? We're going to give you a big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
With bells
Again,
and whistles
boom.
on it. Yeah, again, boom. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh God, okay, fine, I'll accept that. I'll accept that as a sign. So when you are doing these intention works, you can see as like whether or not it's a psychological mindset change because you've put that intention out there, or in whatever way that is, or whether that is the universe responding to what you've asked for. It is showing you that it is achievable.
Yeah. And can I just add, so you don't always need tools either. You don't always need to do keep calling them spirit boards. Jeez. You don't always
That's a different show.
That's another subject. That's another show.
You don't always need to do vision boards. You don't always need to do them kind of things. For example, so far, like I said, we're 7 days in, and my intention was to be able to get back within the paranormal, and was to be more positive and be more productive, and not have it be at the expense of what I'm doing or my family, or anything, because I always find it quite difficult to keep a balance between all the good things that I'm doing. And then within that 7 days, I've had some fantastic opportunities that have come up that are relevant. I'm working back within the paranormal again now. I've got a fantastic new project that's coming up, and I'm working with people that I would never even imagine I would ever work with. As well as I mentioned Mel works within the baby loss community, and I volunteer within that as well. And I've got a fantastic opportunity coming up with Tommy's, which is based on research, and that's where I want to go as a career. So all these things have come in place just with that, like I said, mindset. I didn't create my vision board. I didn't put no tools in place. I just woke up and thought, today's the day.
Yeah.
I started making changes. I changed my attitude. I changed my direction. I changed the way that I interacted with people, and I started working. I started being proactive in creating my goals as well. So that does play a big part. Sometimes, I do hear that people believe spiritual people can be quite a bit laid back, just putting it out there and it's going to happen. And it does happen, but good things come to those who work hard. True. As well. So it come down to, you've got to get out there, you've got to make those opportunities happen. Yes. It's not always going to fall onto your lap, but it could just be that one day you woke up and went, I'm going for a run today, and then just so happen while you're going out for a run, you accidentally run into the man of your dreams that you wrote down on your vision board, and you get married at the end of the year. So you do have to be proactive in your manifestations as well. It doesn't just come down to mindset, or just mindset. It does come down to you being who you need to be able to create those situations as well, and be able to accept them as well.
No, I definitely agree with that. You have to work. They're not just going to give it to you. You're not going to achieve anything just sitting on the sofa watching TV. You've actually got to do the work as well to achieve that goal.
Come out of life, if something's got to come out of your life as well, it needs to do that for something good to come in. So it's about being mindful about your situations and what's happening with you, and kind of, again, being proactive. Things can't come in if what needs to come out hasn't. So it's about moving forward as well, being proactive, keeping a positive mindset, thinking positively, trying to be positive in what can be perceived in a not so great positive world, but also being mindful about what you put out there. Whatever you put out there comes back to you. And me and Kerry have been doing radio shows now for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
3 years?
2 years, yeah.
And when we first started, we had like a slogan. This is how cheesy we were.
And still are at times.
Yeah. And our little slogan was, if I can remember it properly, because I always mess it up now, where energy flows, where energy goes, where attention flows.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was something along those lines.
It was, it goes energy flows where attention goes.
So
if you set a goal and you put energy towards it, you're going to achieve it.
Yes, and that is really the epitome of everything we've spoken about tonight. And it can work in a negative way as well. If you're fixating on a negative situation, a negative person, or you have negative energies around you, or because of you, that is going to manifest itself, just like all the positive stuff does, and negative stuff as well. So it's about mindfulness, about accepting what you can't change. Like Kerry said, sometimes things are there and there's nothing you can do about it. Things do happen. May not be for a reason. That situation might not have happened for a reason. Crap happens, and it's really crap. But sometimes good can come from it, okay. And it's about fixating on that good that will make that crap situation seem not as bad. I say it really loosely because people experience all kind of horrible crap in this world. So in a world where you can be anything, be kind to yourself.
That's a really good way to end, isn't it? Be kind to yourself.
Yeah, really good way to end. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's show, and if you did, it goes to a podcast afterwards. If you enjoyed it, tell your friends about Parasearch Radio. Share the shows. You can listen to any of the shows back on Spreaker, or we're also on YouTube. And if you go to YouTube, subscribe to that channel, and it will let you know when a new show goes up. We are back tomorrow night with the Parasearch UK Radio Encore show, which we talked about. There was an article, ladies, this is Jay Lynch for you. We talked about an article regarding portals and how female masturbation creates portals to hell. And that led on into lots of other discussions regarding energy that is created through that kind of energy.
This is where we've been going wrong, girls.
Mate, seriously, it was a very funny, very interesting show. On Tuesday night, we have the I know, honestly, I was cringing through the whole show. Bright red, cringing through the whole show. On Tuesday night, we have the Paranormal Concept Show. On Wednesday night, we have Haunted Histories. On Thursday night, we have the Spectral Zone. On Friday night, we have the Dark Mirror Show. And on next Sunday evening, we have the Spirit Dimension. So ladies, say goodnight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're the gentlemen. Thank you all for listening. Ladies, say goodnight.
Good night.
Thank you for joining me. It's been a fascinating show as always, and I bid you all a very farewell. Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.